Hey guys, we are here in the new year. It's Hand of Justice, and we're going to go ahead and start my Mythic climb for January. So, the deck that I was most happy with, I haven't actually done any games on ladder just yet. I just did a best of 3 standard event for the deck that I kind of showcased yesterday with Boros Humans. And that really has been the deck that I've just been loving so much. I ended up really kind of going deep on it last month in December. And I ended up coming back to it after, trying out a couple different versions with Naya and some other permutations. And I think it's a little bit more fun than just mono white humans, but I do love the humans build in general. And I think Imidane's Recruiter just adds so much power that I just love this deck, and I just love where it's at. So this is what we're going to use so far to go ahead and start our climb. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So this is the deck, and I'll have a link in the description. I do include a sideboard there, which if you go and check out my best of 3 standard event video, I do kind of go in depth on the entire sideboard strategy. So if you want to run this in best of 3, you totally can. But this is the build I'm going to be using for best of 1. So just to kind of reiterate what this deck does, we are planning to go really wide and then use Imidane's Recruiter to push in massive damage and kind of end the game. We do have kind of a slant towards anti-control. We have 3 copies of Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and 3 copies of Invasion of Gobakan, which both help kind of deal with the opponent's spells. Invasion helps us look at their hand, get better information, and then put something like one of their sweepers out of range by adding 2 to the casting cost. And then in addition, it gives us another way to pump all of our dudes. If we can flip the invasion, we can go ahead and get the light shield array and start gaining +1/+1 counters on all of our attackers every turn, while giving us the ability to sack it to make our creatures hexproof and indestructible. So very powerful effect. Then our creatures, we have 14 1-drops here. We have the full playset of Warden of the Inner Sky, the full playset of Recruitment Officer, and Lunarch Veteran. Lunarch Veteran, again, specializing here against like mono red or aggro. Recruitment Officer giving us that critical 2 power, and also giving us kind of some late game ability to break out of stalls by looking through and finding some more creatures. And then Warden of the Inner Sky, another card which is great at breaking stalls by allowing us to kind of fly over the top, especially against other humans decks. 2 copies of Hopeful Initiate, here to kind of help a little bit against like Selesnya enchantments, deal with other types of enchantments or artifacts, and also hopefully get a chance to grow here with its training ability. And then for our 2-drops, we've got 4 copies of Coppercoat Vanguard. Every creature in this deck is a human, so this really helps kind of adding that ward effect also. 3 copies of Thalia, and then 4 copies of Reinforcements. So Resolute Reinforcements really makes Warden of the Inner Sky so much more powerful by being able to go like Warden into Resolute Reinforcements on turn 2. And then we can use Resolute Reinforcements to really power out our Knight Errant of Eos to make sure that we hit that on turn 3, go and find our recruiters and set up. And then Adelaine just being the powerhouse that we all know and love, 3 copies there. For the mana base here, we have 21 sources, and all of our sources can produce white. And then we have 15 sources here that can produce red, with Mirix being able to do that for 1 turn, and then also kind of giving us some late game threats against control. And then we do have the full play set here of both Cavern of Souls and Secluded Courtyard, which we'll be naming Human. And 4 copies of Battlefield Forge for the Painland to help produce red. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some matches. And I'm kind of curious, of my viewers here, do many of you, try to grind ladder in best of 3? Do you guys prefer best of 1? I'm curious what you guys kind of prefer. I like to do best of 1 personally, but would just sort of love to hear in the comments, which kind of formats really speak to you a little bit more. Yeah, this is a great hand, happy to keep. And then if you are new here and you've never seen my videos before, thank you so much for stopping by. If you do like my content, please do consider subscribing. It really does help me quite a bit. And for my returning viewers, again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. So let's go ahead and lead out with Veteran, and then next turn we can go ahead and go Warden plus Initiate and start scrying. Looks like we could be up against like mono white humans. I kind of like keeping the Aganjo around. We are gaining some life here off the Lunarch Veteran, so maybe it's worth it to try to keep it an extra turn and play out the Forge. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I think I'll run out the Initiate here as well. That way we can start growing it next turn. Okay, reinforcements definitely will help us by allowing us to like double pump this next turn. We'll be able to have a total of 6 creatures, so we could certainly keep that. We might want to also Invasion of Gobakhan, but I think I'm happy to leave the reinforcements here. Just to kind of give us those options. Alright, so we are up against Selesnya enchantments. And I think this is a great turn to go ahead and Invasion of Gobakhan. So let's go ahead and do that. See what they've got for us. Yeah, so we definitely want to go ahead and take away their ossification so they can't just use their Weaver of Harmony to get double the effect and get rid of 2 creatures. I think that's what we want to do. So we could do a full send here, even though we'd be throwing away our Veteran. That would force the flip, and so I do kind of like that attack. Otherwise, we could just send these 2 and see if they want to trade, or excuse me, if they want to just chump with their Weaver. I doubt that they will chump, but it's worth considering doing a full send here. I think that they want to keep their Weaver enough that I think we can just send these 2 and it should be okay. But it is definitely a consideration, like whether or not we send the full team. But it's just so bad for them to chump, so I think we just send these 2. Yeah. And then here we're happy to play our other Warden. Okay, so they probably use their Weaver to get double the effect here. Yeah, and they're just going to go ahead and phone it in. The Light Shield Array is just so powerful against them once we get it going. Okay, let's jump into another game. I had to reset the recording. I ran out of space there for my recording, so sorry the last game was cut. It was against blue-white control. Very long, grindy game. Didn't quite get there. But yeah, I like having access to, I think the Invasion of Gobekhan and Thalia really help out with some of those matchups for sure, in general. All right, really happy to keep. Great hand. And let's lead out here with Initiate. If it is like blue-white control, we want to typically keep these a little bit later here, so if they board wipe, we can get some more value later. And then, even though we could start growing it if we like run these two creatures out, I think we want to maybe just go Vanguard here, because like they could have potentially like the temporary lockdown, and getting completely blown out doesn't feel great. So maybe just Copper Coat here. This way, if they have like Virtue, we also don't just like play into it. Okay, so I think this might be like Jeskai, but yeah, Monastery Mentor deck is pretty terrifying, or it can be. And happy to trade with their Mentor, so I think just getting Adeline going here is probably the move. Yeah, they definitely value their Mentor more than our Vanguard, for sure. So I think that if it's just a blue-white version, they probably have like maybe cards like Fading Hope. We could try to like set up Knight Errant, but I think we don't want to wait too long to give them like an insane army here. So maybe the move here is just Recruiter and just push. Okay, and they did have the Fading Hope, so unfortunately their Mentor is going to grow a little bit. We can still send with Recruiter and Initiate, but the human won't get through, or the Vanguard. So now I think we just want to throw out a bunch of creatures, get Knight Errant going, set up for a big push. Yeah, Thalia's great here. And then hopefully we can draw into some land and then go like double copper coat. Okay. We've got to expect like at least one spell coming down. Can probably grow their mentor to like maybe a 4/4 potentially. So I guess the question is, do we want to get like Adeline plus Initiate and set up for another turn? Or try to do like double copper coat? We could also go like Thalia copper coat to kind of slow down like their ability to play spells, but they only have 3 cards in hand. So if we just go like double copper coat, we should be able to push with everything. But if they make like a bunch of 1/1s, they can just kind of clean out most of our board. So I think maybe the Adeline play is a little bit better. We can still attack with Knight Errant here and just see what they've got. So I think let's, yeah, since we get the free attack, I guess it doesn't really matter here. We can get Adeline going. And I guess we could also like send the human, because we're gonna have another human coming for free as well. But if they make this a 3/3, then we just like lose both. Or we could send, I guess, like veteran also. Maybe we do like a full send. Nah, I think we hold these back for next turn. So we just send Knight Errant and then the free human. Just doing that for the extra creature. Totally get it. Wow. I guess that was enough for them to throw in the towel. Works for me. A little bit of a slow hand, but yeah, happy to keep this for sure. Kind of an interesting take on Boros. Let's see, what should we drop here? Let's just drop Battlefield Forge. I kind of want to look upstairs, see what's going on, but I also think that getting the copper coat out this turn would be good. Yeah, I think just having knowledge here is pretty important. Okay, so they've got Sunfall, Wandering Emperor. All will be one. Tunneler. Yeah, okay. So Sunfall's going to cost them 6 already with Dahlia. Pretty far away from that. Although I guess if they can get to Tunnel Grinder, they can start getting their mana. Wandering Emperor is also annoying for sure. But they won't have it next turn. They probably just go Tunnel Grinder. I think we just want to put Sunfall like super far out of range. They probably just throw it away there with Tunnel Grinder, but... Oh, I guess it's exiled, so it doesn't quite work. All right, Adeline is a nice pickup here. Yeah, let's just add Adeline here to the board. I guess we could also look upstairs again, but even if they have another Sunfall off the top, they won't be able to cast it with that Thalia in play. And this is nice because we've got the extra mana to actually play our Light Shield Array, which is something I almost forgot about there with Thalia. And for some reason, I guess the token doesn't trigger the... I don't know, there's some sort of thing where it doesn't get the... maybe the time that it attacked somehow doesn't interact, so it doesn't get the counter. So now we want to invasion again. Let's see what's going on. So they probably play Wandering Emperor in response. Okay, they've got 2. Iron Crag helps them get closer to Sunfall. So since they've got 2 here, I think we just take away the Iron Crag or make it a little bit more expensive. And now we can play Coppercoat to make sure that they can't Wandering Emperor or Thalia. I suppose they can jump with a token. That actually is a fair point.
Let your play do the talking.
Oh, you know what? I forgot we don't have the mana because of the... That was a mistake. Whoops. Yeah. So we still get the benefit of the first Light Shield Array, but because of Thalia, we actually couldn't pay for the other ones. That was an error. Now if they have land, which they do, they're setting up for Sunfall next turn. Oh, you know, we could have used our Light Shield Array there. Whew, man. That would have been better. Yeah, because we're going to lose everything from the Sunfall. But we've still got enough coming in, so... Yeah, a couple misplays there. Luckily it didn't matter, but... Just, yeah, forgetting about the Light Shield Array interaction with Thalia. Okay, opening hand looks great. Could just be straight toxic since they're green-white. If they're green-blue, then it's like the combo version. But yeah, it could just be straight toxic here. And we definitely want to go officer here so we can at least threaten the block. Okay, so it is sort of still kind of combo-y. So I think we want to lead out with Thalia, kind of tax their mana as much as possible here. So they probably have some version of make their guy indestructible. We want our mana to get our Knight Errant going, so we're just going to go ahead and take this hit. Yeah, and unfortunately we didn't get there on the mana. Since, again, they have most likely the indestructible, like Tamio safekeeping or something like that, I think we just want reinforcements just to set up for Knight Errant. It's a little bit slow, but got to buy some time. Here, if they send again, we can like throw out the extra token in front of it. Because we want to make sure we keep at least 3 creatures and 2 mana open. So I think here we just... Guess we could also just like throw an officer in front of a Rot Priest to like force their hand. Yeah, because I think we're a little bit more worried about the actual toxic damage than the just straight damage from Virtuoso. So maybe we force their hand with an officer here. Yeah, I think maybe that's the play. Now we can go double veteran into Knight Errant. So again, I think we're more worried about dying to toxic damage than we are to actual life. Yeah, double copper coat seems great. So if we are assuming they have something like Massive Might, something like that, mainly it's going to be, again, the poison counters. So if we just let this through... Let's see, does this thing give it trample? Yeah, it gives it trample. I guess we could force their hand here to get it out of their hand, but how does that actually help us? I guess then we can like crack back maybe a little better. Now we're like one spell away from dead. So we want to make sure we have 2 blockers for their Rot Priests, but we can send everything else. I do like taxing their mana, so maybe we want to hold that one back. But we kind of need to make some waves here and push damage, so we can leave these 2 back. This way, if we like draw into like Imitating Recruiter mana, could potentially get there if they don't have the kill this turn. They need just one more spell here. Yeah, and they've got Rail Treatment, so that's gonna do it. Double Rot Priest is kind of a beating. All right, opening hand looks great. Here we want to go Warden so we can go into Reinforcements next turn to ensure that we can get the Scry. Could have also gone like Initiate into Thalia. And maybe that's better. Luckily we drew Veteran, so we can just do this instead. I think we do want to get Veteran down. The only problem here is if we do Scry, we open ourselves up to Squee, which would be very detrimental if they have Squee on 3. Game could kind of spiral out of control. But I think, this is hard. I guess if they have Squee, we could like double block. So maybe it's right to just sit. Kind of also, like, I do want to make sure we have enough land next turn, so I think I'm going to take the chance they haven't got Squee. Okay. Send that to the bottom. We've already got a Thalia here. Play with fire also. I guess they're considering it. Fortunately, no land, but Thalia is pretty nice here. And then I think we just send with Veteran. If they have like, I guess like Godric next turn, we still have blocks. I suppose if they like have Godric plus, no, they couldn't. I guess we've got Thalia, so we're taxing their mana, so we are okay to attack with just Veteran here, I think. This way they have Monstrous Rage. We still have Thalia to kind of... Alright, so they're representing Monstrous Rage. Or just... They could have Play with Fire. I think based on this attack, they've got Monstrous Rage. So do we want to trade these two for Feldon plus Monstrous Rage? I don't really think so. I think we want to keep taxing their mana and then just... swinging back, so I think we just take this. Alright, so they had Monstrous Rage plus Play with Fire. That's kind of a beating. Still no third land. Now I think we just try to buy time with reinforcements. And then I think we have to be ready to... Let's see, can we get in with Veteran? We could get in with Veteran and then like triple block. But if they have like another creature to add, I kind of want to keep the other creature back. So I think we just hang out here. We definitely have to eventually deal with that Feldon, but I think getting rid of their Foundry here is okay too. So I think instead we just... I guess they could have like another Monstrous Rage or another Play with Fire. I think we try to race Feldon. Triple block here, give them the option if they want the two or not. Alright, still nothing. Yeah, I think we just buy more time with more reinforcements. And again, like if they have another 2/2, I want to be able to block if we have to. So I think we just sit. Yeah, now we just make sure we can trade with Godric. Although I guess if they have Monstrous Rage, then this turns into like an X5. So then we'd have to like block with everything. I think we have to hope they haven't got that and just like Play with Fire. Because I think we need this life to be able to outpace their other stuff here, so this just has to work. If they have the Rage, it's so rough. Whew. Yeah, we need mana so badly. And now we're just forced to trade with their Feldon. And again, we just need the life here, so we have to. They just have to not have it. I don't even know if we have Adeline mana, if it even saves us now. Still no Adeline mana, okay. Yeah, Copper Coat. We can survive for like another turn. Guess we could try to get this into the air as like a flyer, but we don't really have time for that is the problem. All right, that's gonna do it. Oof, yeah, kind of a rough go of it there. Might want to maybe change the deck up a little bit. I do like it, but yeah. We'll have to see if we maybe want to reshape it a little bit. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we will make some more videos here, either like another standard event or some more just grinding on ladder. And let's take a look at the stats. Okay, so the Boros Aggro, or the Boros Humans deck here is still doing pretty well, even though we had a pretty rough run just now. But it is 9-3, 75% win rate, so it is still doing pretty decent here. Yeah, maybe just a couple tough matchups. And I definitely am cognizant of the interaction between Thalia and Invasion of Gobekhan, just a little bit awkward. Still being able to, I think, tax out the temporary lockdown like the turn before it goes into play is so important, though. So, you know, how would you change that? Maybe you could consider like Anointed Peacekeeper. But I think, yeah, again, just having access to slow that down, because that really is their best answer for blue-white control, is those temporary lockdowns just really, really cause problems. And a lot of those decks do run 4 copies, so... All right, we will see you in the next video.